Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about the run method. Actually, I'm going to talk about the background of the run method. The topic is the run method, the only most effective way to learn foreign language. Well, you may say, don't you sound a little bit pretentious or boasting or whatever you do? Well, here is the thing. For any method, you can come from two ways. One is intuitive, like most of the methods of teaching foreign language or learning foreign language over the internet, right? There's so many. What they are most intuitive. From their own personal experience, they tell you what it is. Let's say watch TV and listen to stories, read novels, whatever way. All right, that's one way. The other way is from the analytical side. That is to experiment, to first to analyze it, and to see the logic, to see the essence of the way, or uh, you'll figure out what's the reason, then you'll do it by experimenting with data. And that's the way it's effective. So you can say it's from the analytical side. So this method of a run is from the second part. But what's special about this, it got a very profound philosophical foundation. As a matter of fact, it's not only traditional or classical philosophy from that side, it's something new. Me, myself, created this philosophy. And believe me, I think I know what I'm doing. The thing is, in the broad sense, when you have a new philosophy, it's not easily recognized because philosophy is setting up rules for all other fields, right? So it does not have a definite standard so for people to judge it. Let's say if you are a mathematical genius, you solved 1,000 years classical puzzle, you can get a reward. It's easy to see it. And a lot of other mathematicians can see it clearly because you got the rules here. But for philosophy, it's different because philosophy is setting up the rules. So the truth of philosophy is not judged mostly by the current times, or it's judged rather by historical events later in your life. Few philosophers got recognized, that's for sure, unless you try to please the authorities, like Hegel did or Heidegger did. They are both big guys in philosophy, but they try to do that way, and you can get recognized because the authorities, the government, needs it. All right. But if you're something like Spinoza or uh, Plato or Socrates, you don't care what the government says, and you don't want to please anybody, including the majority. You don't want to play the market. So you are happy when you find the truth. That's the only source of happiness for you. So you are a true philosopher in that sense. All right, probably this is a little bit too far. Let me come back to the question. What I'm talking about, the run method, I sincerely believe this is the only most effective way to learn foreign language. To put it simply, it is a way to shoot to kill three birds with one stone. And you will know what I'm talking about later. All right, let's go to the next one and I'll show you why. All right, let's go from here. Okay. First, before I dive into this, I need to give you some new vocabularies. And the thing I need to express myself in this series is first one, intentional factor. What it means, it basically means sense. We have the sense of the sense, all right? If it doesn't make sense, it's not a sense. Sense means to measure something meaningful. So it's called intentional factor. The second one is called a controller. What is controller? That is something in your head that controls the both hemisphere of your brain, from the one side of the left to the right, from the emotional, consciousness, creativity, arts, the left side, and controlling the intentional factor of meaning passing to the right side to get language to express yourself, eventually streaming out of your mouth. Okay, that's the function of a controller. I also mentioned this concept in my previous talks, like 10 rules to learn a foreign language fluently, that one and others too. All right. One more term, I call it relatively relative. That's a concept from the instant quality. If you're not familiar with it, it doesn't matter. But basically, it's saying for anything objectively exists in the world, you can twist it because it's related to you as a human. You can twist it, all right, the way you want it. Well, you probably can succeed. Like a car, I can build this way, you can build that way, for example, all right? The last one is absolutely relative. This one is a little bit hard to understand. It's too abstract. It basically means meaning like rules. Let's say the rules of universal gravity. That's a Newtonian rule, right? And it exists there, no matter you humans understand or discover it or not. It doesn't matter. It's there all the time. That's called absolute. For to say it relative means it is from something, from the object. Object is there. It's conditional. It's not absolutely no condition. So relatively means conditional. It has some extensional condition or extensional features, or you have to match, otherwise it won't work. So that's called absolutely relative. But anyway, it's not matters a lot. And, you don't know instant quality, you can learn that later on. You can ignore it. For you, probably something else is more important. All right, let's come to the next one. Okay, now I'm going to define the fluency. What is fluency? What's the state of fluency? All right. The interagency language roundtable scale was developed to measure a person's ability to communicate in a language. It consists of 5 levels of language proficiency and in the cover. I don't know. In the standard grading scale for language proficiency from the federal government. All right, so we go official now. It's by the federal government. All right. For the levels, as a matter of fact, it got 5. All right, level 0 actually is 6. If you can memorize isolated words or vocabularies, you reach the part of or level of memorizing proficiency. Let's say you remember the one bonjour in French, and that's isolated. All right, you can connect it to other things like other isolated words. You just cannot connect. That's called memorized proficiency. All right, you can just memorize this individual isolated words. All right, next one, next level. Level 1, elementary proficiency. It's a little bit better because it's relate. You can relate some words. You can put them together to connect them to form a meaning. That's what it means. Okay, so that's called elementary proficiency. By the way, if you want to know more about it, go to the www.povtir.org and to study it in detail. All right. Okay, level 2 is limited working proficiency. See, you can make it work and you can use it in your work, but it's a limited proficiency. That's level 2. And the next level 3, professional working proficiency. This sounds much better because it comes to your field, professional. What's your job? And you can take that one because it's a professional working proficiency. All right, the next one is even higher. It's called full professional working proficiency. That means that you are qualified to talk about it in your field. All right. Maybe more or less, but anyway, you are full professional now, so it shouldn't be a problem at all for you to talk in your field. All right. The last one is called a native or bilingual proficiency. That's a simple. For example, if you are engineer, I give you a piece of film give you a film, let you write a piece of comment. You should be able to because you are native level, right? You can go out of your field to talk about other objects out of your normal realm familiarity, but to talk about almost anything like native speakers, sort of. All right. Now we are going to concentrate on level 3. Why we need to do that? Because level 3 is the standard for federal government to be proficient to the level 3. It includes, it has specific requirements, all right? Let's first see the definition. Okay, oh, here, good. Messed up. Level 3, professional working proficiency. What is that? How do you define it? Okay, number 1, professional working proficiency is rated 3 on the scale. A person at this level is described as follows. Number 1, able to speak the language with sufficient structural accuracy and vocabulary to participate effectively in most conversations on practical, social, and professional topics. All right, is that sound very clear? Speak. Be careful with this word. All right. Number 2, able to understand the essentials of all speech in a standard dialect, including technical discussions within a specific field. All right. How can you understand it? How? You listen to it and you understood. So to understand is to say you through listening, all right? Through sound, you know the essentials of all speech. So that is key here. The last one, able to read within a normal range of speed and with almost complete comprehension a variety of authentic prose material on unfamiliar subjects. Wow, that's a pretty high requirement. Unfamiliar subjects. Okay, but anyway, from the 3 requirements for the government officials to learn English within 6 months, full-time, doing nothing else but only learn the language of Mandarin. What the government wants you to reach at the end of the 6 months, able to speak, able to listen, able to read. All right, 3 criteria. Criterion, I should say. Be aware of this. It doesn't mention writing. All right. So fluency means speaking, listening, and reading first. You can reach these 3 criterion of standards, you can go on with the rating with whatever you do later in your life after 6 months. But you have to meet these standards, all right? These three, that's the part. Okay, so how can we do it? We need to find a method which can do the three, to meet the three requirements all at once. In other words, to kill three birds with one stone. Where is this method? All right, this is the run method. Why? Tell me why. Why do you think it's unique? Why do you think it's the only best way? There's no other way? Are you sure? I heard all roads lead to Rome. Yes, of course, all roads lead to Rome. If you practice enough on any way, any method, let's say you listen to film, stories. If you listen long enough, I'm sure you will understand and you'll learn it, your language that way. Oh, well, let's say you watch films, foreign films, good enough, and you watch the many films and you take long enough time to do that. You can learn it too. All roads lead to Rome. That's the saying. All right, but remember, the other proverb is Rome is not built in one day, meaning you have to persist, you have to endure the difficulties, you have to persistently practicing and doing the work before you reach proficiency. So here's the thing. How can you be sure? How do you have long enough time to do that? For the government officials, they are only allowed 6 months. And for you, you may have a little bit longer time or shorter time, whatever, depending on your situation. But the thing is, you need to reach to get the three with one method. You want to try to find the shortest way, the most effective way to achieve this goal of level 3 professional working proficiency. How can you do that? And I'm saying here, I'm claiming without a reservation that the run method is the most effective, the uniquely effective way of reaching that goal. Why? Tell me why. What's the reason behind it? Okay, let's have the benefit of doubt. Okay, first I talk about the foreign language, the relationship between foreign language and the language. All right, let me give you the English part. Sorry for that. Okay. Here you go. Okay. The relationship between foreign language and the language. And I studied this part, did a lot of research. What's the difference between learning a foreign language and learning your own language? That is your native tongue since you were a baby. All right. Basically, there are no difference, but I'll show you why there is a difference. Why they are like that. In summary, language is a tool for your brain. All right. And the foreign language is to add one set of tools similar to your original one. Just that kind of relationship. Add to it, nothing else. Add a new tool to it. All right. That is a relationship. Secondly, the relationship of a language to symbols and the sounds. Okay, here's the thing. What is the nature of language itself then? Okay, the language, according to many dictionaries like Britannica, Oxford Dictionary, and many others. It's a way or system of communication, and people connect to each other, talk to each other, and social interactive activities and caused by the language. So that is basically extensional definition. You may also say it's strokes in the words or symbols and all put together with the sound. All right, that is the language. But it's also extensional. All right, not intentional. That's most definition, by the way. And okay, so we need to dig deeper. What's a language that can have symbols, words, or functions for interactive or for communication among people? What's the function intentionally? They find it with the brain, with your thinking. That's the thing I want to talk about, and we need to discover. And I find out it's just a way of putting your thoughts, to form your thoughts and to utter it with a sound. All right, that's a way of thinking. But the brain has more ways to think, not only by language, by the way. So language is just one way of thinking. For example, an artist can use arts to think. A musician can use music. A mathematician can use numbers. So there's many other ways. And then we even know the bees can dance like the shape of the number 8 to convey the meaning of where the bee has discovered the flowers, things like that, right? We know there's many ways to communicate. Thinking for human beings, we have many ways. And, a poet can think without any logic to show you the emotional side. Write something like you imagine the image, then this is kind of thinking. So language is just one way of thinking. All right, you have to get this part. Don't believe it's unique to your brain. That's important. All right. Okay, so we come to this thinking and other forms of or tools of thinking, like imagery, music, dance, sound, and so that is in comparison with others, use symbols and words, just add one set of tools to do the thinking. That is the nature of language. When you learn a foreign language, you are doing nothing but add another tool to your original language or symbol arsenal to express yourself. That's it. You can dance, you can sing a song, you can draw art, and you have many other ways. So to learn a foreign language is another way to add to your capacity or arsenal, a new way of setting up this expression. All right. So next one. The significance and the structure. Okay, here's the thing. We come to the idea of what is the language, your primary language, doing in your mind or in your brain. I regard the mind and the brain the same thing, all right? Okay, here's the thing. There is something behind the symbols, the words, the strokes, which is called meaning. I call it meaning element or sense element, okay? When Chomsky said, in all languages, there is a grammar which is universal. I doubt that one, but his idea comes from Kant, Immanuel Kant, of a German philosopher, to discover things from internal nature or essence. But I think he hit the wrong target. Grammar is something gradually built up along with the meaning. So I would say meaning is universal, not the grammar. That's another topic. Later, we can talk about that later. Okay, so where is the root of meaning then? Meaning is an edifice. It can be simple as I want to eat, as difficult as I want to build a nuclear bomb. Oh, well, let's get a better one. I want to build a factory or car. It can be complex, very complex. All right. So that is the meaning. But where does the meaning come from? That's the question. Okay. Here you go. We know from the modern physiology, biology, the medical studies, we humans have two halves or hemisphere of the brains. One is the left side, the other right side. For left side, we got the creativity, the arts, the emotion, the consciousness, and we urge the desire, mostly from the left side. On the right side, we got the logic, we got the language, we got the rationale things on the other side. So basically, the division is like this. All right. The meaning comes, or the element of meaning comes from the left side. When you are happy, when you are angry, when you feel bitter, when whatever your emotion is, it will create the meaning, the element of meaning, which got passed through the controller between two hemispheres. There's a controller. Okay, the controller controls your meaning. The controller got the meaning from the one side of the out of your emotion, whatever it is, then push to the other side to draw the elements. Where do I store the symbols? Where do I store the words? It's separated, it doesn't mean anything, like of, like and, like whatever. You know, words only by connecting to each other will have meaning, but the meaning is something behind the words. Then you, through your lips, to spit it out. All right, that's the way it is. So, from the two worlds of the hemispheres, the meaning comes from the left side and through the controller pass to the right side. Then eventually out of your mouth, streaming out to the outside world. That's how language is produced. That's my theory. So language belongs to the relative and the meaning belongs to the absolute object. Here's the thing. Meaning has no spatial relationship with the world. In my philosophy, Eastern Ecology, it belongs to the world of absolute relative, that is, in the macro world. If you don't know anything about it, that's okay. Just listen through it. Then we can go on. The language belongs to the macro world, that is, has space. That world has space and the time, spatial temporal world. Okay, that's has a relationship absolutely relatively relative. Okay, so you can twist it, make it any way you want it. Like language itself, you can sound like French, Chinese, English, or Greek, if you like, or any other language. That doesn't matter, right? I'd like to express the meaning. Meaning. That's why I said that. Meaning is a big thing. It's a magical, all right? It can be as big, as complex, and anything you can imagine. But it can be as simple as a simple desire, happiness, sadness, bitter, whatever feeling you produce from your left side, you can express it through language. Okay, so the two hemispheres basically relating to two worlds in psychology, micro world and the macro world. All right. Okay, here's the thing. The presence and the function of the controller. Okay, we got the idea of only meaning. The meaning, if it's only exists, it doesn't make any sense till somebody can use it or something can use it. This function of using the meaning when it's got produced is by the controller, which connect two parts of hemisphere of your brain. All right, the two sides are connected through this controller, which will make the meaning meaningful. Here's the thing. All right. Number 10, the dual source of meaning, first language and second language. Okay, now we come to something concrete. You may need to pay more attention. Meaning, when it's built in your first or primary language, it took years to understand it, to build it, because it's not only symbols, not only words, strokes, it got something more complex. So you need to, like, let's say, from you were born to you are 10 or 15 years old to have adult thinking. All right. The complexity of meaning is built in your brain. Okay, that's how the first language is formed. When you come to learn the second language, are you doing the same thing again? No. To me, you only need to copy the complexity of meaning from your primary language to set it up, ready to build a second system of meaning. Then you just remember the symbols of the second language, right? Let's say your first language is Chinese, you can understand a lot of things, copy the meaning of Chinese, how complex it is, got the meaning, then come to have the similar complexity of meaning, get it ready, like a scaffold, like a structure. Then you put all the words, let's say you learn English, all the letters, all characters formed together. You get that part. So you put the two things together. That's how you learn second language. Copy the structure of meaning and store the strokes or elements or alphabets of the second language. Okay, vice versa for the Chinese. Okay, so that is basically the essence of learning a foreign language and whatever language it is. 2 steps, all right? Copy the structure of meaning and store the words, all right? Like the brain, like a controller, control it. When your controller started to activate or conjure the meaning through the second language. Give him one way to work, all right? It will take from either your language, first primary language, or second language. That is the thing, system, okay? That's the thing. Okay, next one. So the purpose of learning a second language is to build another system meaning in your mind. Okay, this is simply what it is to learn foreign language. Okay, here's something I jump ahead already. The establishment of the first meaning system is creative. It takes years and it takes long, but the second one does not take that long. I already talked about this. The second meaning system copies the complexity of first meaning system over to be ready to set up the second system with meaning, okay? And then you get all the words, all the strokes, the alphabets, or whatever needed for people to understand. So for the symbols, strokes, or alphabets, it's a mechanically memorized characters of the second language system. Language develop new habits. Okay, here's the thing. Let's talk about. When you say you learn a language or teach a language, you are either a student or teacher. What are you doing? What are you doing? What is to learn? What is to teach? Teach what? We have so many subjects. We have mathematics, we have physics, we have chem and biology. What the teacher or student doing? They are studying the logic, the steps of logic, step by step to the most uppermost, the current state of logic. How far those fields have been or have gone. Till now, you learn the facts and you learn how to stay deeper logically. So if you didn't learn to think logically, you didn't learn those fields well. Okay, that's called teaching or learning, right? We also have the subjects like medicine or medical field, like say making a porcelain, making wines. What are they teaching you or you are learning from? Experience. The masters or whoever ahead of you or teachers are experienced. You follow them. They know it by experience. They tried before. I say temperature, how much temperature it needs. If you don't follow it, you are doomed to fail. Or you may experiment something new, but mostly you have to learn it first, right? Okay, here's the thing. Then you have other fields like history, archaeology, anthropology, maybe. Okay, what do you learn in those fields? You learn facts. You learn by what people memorized, right? That's to learn is to memorize, mostly history and what happened in the past, things like that. All right, so how about a language learning? What you learn, what you teach about language learning. What's the definition of language learning? I would say it's a habit. You form a habit. That's the second language learning all about. Let's say, what is a habit? When you were small, your mother told you to practice about face every day. And when you grow up, you keep doing it. Now, you start to learn a new habit. Okay, let's say from now on, you need to clean your ears each morning to get the wax of your ear each morning. Okay? Okay, you start doing that. Then after 7 years, you not only practice wash face, but also clean your ears each morning. The same thing with the second language. Okay? So it's a habit forming practice. Nothing else. It's not like physics, it's not like medicine studies, medical schools, it's not like history studies or archaeology studies. Okay? So to learn a foreign language is training a habit. Training the habit. That's a definition. Okay, now we come to the run method. So the run method, what it means, it wants you to kill three birds with one stone. What is the three birds? Reading, listening, and speaking. All three words with one stone. Okay, that is why it's important. Why it's unique. What's the foundation? What's the reason? What's the logic behind the RAND method? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, here's the thing. The double essence of meaning. Okay, meaning is something which is probably pretty new to you. All right, it got two doubles. First, the meaning has its internal structure that is from your primary language. Secondly, when you learn foreign language, the language itself has its meaning built in that language. Okay? So when you use the RAND method, you read line by line. What are you doing? You are not only get yourself familiarized with the alphabet, with the characters, with the forming of the strings. You also get the complexity of meaning. You need to build it up in your mind. Okay? See the double thing? One is inside, one is outside. Okay? Then another double is the intentional and the extensional character of meaning. Meaning, as I said before, it came from one world, that is the left brain, going all the way through to the right side. That's another world. That's the micro world. Okay, micro world, M-I-C-R-O and M-A-C-R-O. Micro, macro. All right. I don't know if I sounded clear to you, but that's what I meant. So spell out for you. So doubling double essence of meaning. This is important. All right. For example, reading sentence to soak the meaning to match the original meaning structure and store the symbols of the second language. I mentioned it already, so I won't go more about it. I mentioned the relative nature and of meaning versus absolute nature. All right, like the universal gravity thing. You know, the nature is it's there. Okay, it's an absolute. But how you express it with with numbers, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. With that numeric systems, that's the form. Okay, that's how you express the meaning, but behind it, there's meaning. This form is relative. You can use digital binary system to express it also, right? It's so. You can imagine there is many other systems to express the universal gravity, right? How we express it is relative, but what is absolute is it's there. You cannot change it. Okay. Okay. Today I'm going to talk is this. I hope if you have questions, I beg you do. If you care, put it down. I'll explain more. But basically, that is what I intended to say to lay a foundation for my claim. The RAND method comes from a long history of studies and has a philosophical foundation. That's my intention. You pay much more attention or focus on this one, it will benefit a lot. It will help you to get to level 3 within 6 months, if you can. Of course, full time. Try your best. Hopefully you can shorten the time. I don't know. But anyway, tell me what you think and let me know. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you can, if you're helpful. All right. Thank you so much. See you next time.